Oggi Tech Fanpage è in compagnia di Paul McDonald, una vecchia guardia di Google che per moltissimi anni è stato il product manager di Gmail, oltre che l'ideatore di Google App Engine, Google Checkout e moltissimi altri prodotti, tra cui Google Consumer Surveys, uno strumento potentissimo per le aziende che con dei questionari ben mirati e con un investimento relativamente basso permette di realizzare delle vere e proprie indagini di mercato focalizzate per comprendere meglio la risposta del proprio target d'utenza. Hi Paul, it's a pleasure to meet you and thanks a lot for being with us.
No problem, Dario. It's really great to be here. Thank you.
Consumer Surveys è nato ormai 3 anni fa e deriva da uno dei 20% project di Google. Mi piacerebbe che tu spiegassi ai nostri lettori di cosa si tratta e da cosa è nata l'idea.
Sure. So as you mentioned, Google Consumer Surveys started as a 20% project here at Google. Our idea was really to try to help publishers monetize the great content that they were creating in a way that was usable for readers of that content. What we saw was publishers in the US and other places around the world were putting up paywalls on their digital content. The revenue from the print publications that they had been so used to had sort of fallen off a cliff around 2006. And the revenue from the digital advertising and the digital content that they were creating didn't really make up for that loss in print subscriptions. And so, as I mentioned, we saw a lot of them putting up paywalls to protect their content and get readers to pay for that content. And we thought maybe there was a better way. Instead of paying for the content with your money, you could pay with your time by answering a simple market research survey. And so what Google Consumer Surveys does is it acts as a middleman between market research agencies, small and medium-sized businesses, large Fortune 500 companies, and publishers and readers. And we display surveys in line with content. We give the user or the reader a small snippet of the content that they can read. Then they have to answer a survey to read the rest of the content. And generally, these are 1 or 2 question surveys. Readers can quickly answer them and then get access to the rest of the content.
In effetti appare chiaro che la struttura di Consumer Surveys rispecchia al 100% la mission di Google, ossia quella di analizzare e organizzare le informazioni e renderle accessibili agli utenti. Secondo te però qual è stata la caratteristica che ha fatto avere successo al progetto e soprattutto che tipologia di azienda trae più beneficio da questi sondaggi?
Sure, so Google makes all of its decisions based on data. And we thought maybe we could bring that data-driven decision-making process to all kinds of different companies, from small and medium-sized businesses up through the large Fortune 500 companies. A lot of companies already today use market research to collect data about their consumers or learn something new about the consumers of their products. And but the folks who haven't really had access to that market research before, the small and medium-sized businesses, haven't really participated in market research because it was either too expensive or too time-consuming, or they just didn't know how to do it. And so really the value proposition here for market research is that we're bringing these professional quality tools to researchers who never really had access to them before. On the other side, we're paying publishers for every single response that we get to a market research question. We pay them a flat fee. And so it complements the advertising already on the site as an additional form of revenue. It gives readers easy access to the content, and it gives businesses easy ways and affordable ways to make data-driven decisions.
Perché un lettore dovrebbe rispondere al questionario? Voglio dire, come avete fatto a metterli in confidenza con le domande?
Yeah, so I think there's 2 things that we do. The first is we give the reader a choice. Whenever they see a survey on a publisher site, they have a choice of either answering the survey or doing something else that the publisher wants them to do. And that could be signing into the site or sharing the content of the site on social media or signing up for a newsletter. Basically anything else that is interesting to the publisher. If they decide that they want to trade their data for access to content, what we try to do is we make the initial surveys that they answer easy, 1 or 2 questions, with giving them limited access to the content. So you get access to the page that you're reading for 24 hours, for example. As users get used to this process, we give them longer surveys to get access to more content for more or longer amounts of time. So maybe you answer a 5-question survey and get access to an article or a section of a paper for 7 days or more. So in that way, we're sort of introducing the surveys into the reader experience and allowing them to make a choice whether or not they want to answer the survey or do what the publisher wants them to do.
Immagino il sistema sia pienamente funzionante anche in dispositivi mobili come smartphone e tablet.
Yes, so we work on desktop, mobile, tablets, and we also have a separate application called Google Opinion Rewards, which is available to users in Italy with Android phones. And that gives you Google Play credits for answering surveys. So that's another form of incentive for users who are wanting to access content on the Google Play Store.
Quindi sei convinto che un sistema come il vostro oppure altri paywalls diventeranno una cosa abbastanza comune anche qui in Europa oltre che in America?
Yeah, I mean, I think publishers are trying to find ways to make more revenue. The content that they're creating is expensive, and high quality content will always be more difficult to create. And so having alternate forms of monetization for your site, I think, will become more and more commonplace. You know, I think there's several ways that publishers can monetize today. There's ads, of course, and ads are great for some of the larger publishers who have access to big spending brands who want to advertise on their site, but don't often work as well for small regional papers and websites. There's things like paywalls that don't generally tend to work very well. Not many people end up subscribing to the content or paying for the content because they can often find similar content, maybe not as high quality content, but similar content on other papers. So easing people into ways to sort of become a more loyal reader of the site through Google consumer surveys or other means, I think will become more commonplace in the future.
È molto recente la notizia che Google Consumer Service si espanderà ad altri 40 paesi, Italia compresa. Le mie domande sono queste: quali saranno le tempistiche, quali saranno i costi per le aziende italiane e quali saranno i format a disposizione?
Sure, so currently in Europe we're available in the UK and Germany, and we're working on most of Western Europe right now. And so I don't have exact dates for you, but we think by by the end of the first half of this year, we'll be in most of Western Europe. For publishers, they get paid a flat fee, which is equivalent to 5 cents in US dollars for every response that every question answered on their site. And for researchers, we charge them based on the number of questions that they have and the difficulty of those questions, the targeting that they have to reach a certain particular audience. And so there, the cost for a researcher is the equivalent of 10 cents US for a one-question survey, up to $3.50 US for a 10-question survey.
Perfetto, direi che per oggi va bene così, non ci dilunghiamo oltre. Grazie mille a Paul McDonald di essere stato con noi e speriamo di risentirti presto.
It's a real pleasure. Thank you, Dario. I appreciate it.